What's going on YouTube? It's Jason, and today we're going to be discussing Chat GPT and specifically how effective it is as a personal trainer. So for those of you who have been living under a rock and don't know what Chat GPT is, it's the latest in artificial technology that essentially gives you all the answers to your questions that you have. Now on one hand, there's been a huge buzz around Chat GPT, but on the other hand, people have also been fearing for their jobs, thinking that artificial intelligence will eventually replace them. And naturally, as we all do as humans, when something is seen to be shiny and new, everybody wants to test it out. And of late, one of the newest trends is to try it out as a personal trainer. People are asking it about things to do with fat loss, muscle building, and how to design programs for both. So as an experienced trainer of almost 10 years, I thought I'd put it to the test. Can this be the pocket PT we've all been waiting for? Cheaper, more efficient, and more knowledgeable? Let's find out. So I'm going to pretend I'm average Joe trying to get into better shape and vet the answers from a personal trainer's perspective. So let's start nice and easy. How to lose fat as an 80 kg male. So let's review the answers. Create a calorie deficit. How much of a deficit? 100, 300, how much is enough? So more generic information about exercise, 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. Again, you haven't asked me anything about my work schedule or my available time. Focus on lean protein. How much protein are we talking? 1 gram per pound of body weight, less. Avoid processed foods. So does that mean I can't have any junk food? Is that sustainable? Next question, how do I get rid of love handles? Muffin top, really? Okay, so calorie deficit, that's good advice, but again, how much of a deficit you haven't stated. Focus on exercises that target the obliques, such as side planks and Russian twists. That is awful advice. No amount of exercise is going to get rid of your love handles. There is nothing in the text about the fact that you can't spot reduce fat. That is probably the most important thing to be said. Okay, so next question. Let's say I'm on a fat loss program and fat loss slows down. What do I do? Okay, so reevaluate my calorie intake, and if I've been following the same diet plan, how many calories am I shooting for? Try reducing my calorie intake further. Further from what? How many calories further do I reduce my calories? Ensure you're getting enough protein is good advice, but how much protein? It may be useful to reduce your carbohydrate intake if you're consuming too much. Again, what about my total calories? Doesn't that mean anything? Consider switching up your routine. Incorporate different types of exercises to shock your body and keep it guessing. Are you kidding me? That is the worst advice you can ever give. You can do the exact same exercises for 10 years in a row. As long as you're adapting reps or intensity or duration, you will get results. So next question, if you can call it a question. Let's look for a sample fat loss program for a 3-day week. Okay, so here's a sample fat loss program. There's been no mention of the weights lifted or what percentage of my maximum I should be lifting. 3 sets of 8 reps on barbell squats. What does that mean? What weight do I start on? How do I know I'm training at the right level? Again, no mention of form. I have no idea what I'm doing. Remember to adjust the weight and reps according to your fitness level and goals. Again, as a person who's new to training, that means nothing to me. And yeah, too right, put in something about injury, because that's exactly what's going to happen with this program. So moving on, next question, how do I build more muscle as an 80 kg male? Okay, great, so muscle building 101, building muscle requires a caloric surplus. Yep, very true. How much of a surplus? Eat at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That is the most generic advice. You don't need that much to build muscle. Complex carbohydrates, that's true. Okay, so healthy fats, how many fats? Fats are an important consideration because if your fat intake is too low, you start to negatively affect your hormones. And finally, the advice to consult a PT or fitness professional is probably the best piece of advice ChatGPT has given for the 5 questions. So all that being said, I've heard a few people speak about ChatGPT and how potentially it could replace personal training in the future. I think if I'm honest, it really depends on the quality of the trainer. If you're talking about a newly qualified trainer or one of these trainers who basically just vomits information at clients from Google, then yes, I absolutely do believe that their jobs could be under threat. But for knowledgeable and experienced trainers, I just think there is no comparison to ChatGPT. That's because a personal trainer is more than just knowledge. If you think about the developments we've made in nutrition and sports science, We are more knowledgeable than we've ever been, yet people are getting more and more overweight, which tells you that knowledge is not the problem. And for these reasons, I think a good personal trainer can offer more than Chat GPT. The first thing is tailored programming. As you saw, I put something into Chat GPT asking about fat loss. It spewed out generic information. Now, as much as that information wasn't that accurate, even if it was and I followed it, what happens if something went wrong or changed in my circumstances and I needed the program to be amended? ChatGPT just cannot offer that service. A number of times I've had clients where things have changed, their job, or they've got injured, I've had to change something up, and they're able to get on with their journey and still make progress. If you're not able to make that adjustment to your program to match your life circumstances, most people will just give up. And the second thing is motivation. I'm sorry to say, but a robot just cannot motivate you. As a coach, a main part of motivating my clients is understanding where they're at and connecting with them at an emotional level. You just can't connect with a robot. And the final thing, and this is where I really feel ChatGPT just doesn't compare, is accountability. Now, you can have all the information in the world, but if you haven't got someone there to call you out on your mistakes and where you're not doing things as well, or perhaps not even showing up to sessions or logging your food or whatever, how on earth can you get to your goal? The reason we even make progress in our careers is because we have managers to keep us accountable. You can't just set someone a program and tell them to get on with it. They're going to put their own spin on it, they might not understand something, and at that point, that's where a good coach pulls you back in, asks what's going wrong, how they can support you, and gets you back on track. Again, a robot just can't do this for you. So yes, if we're just talking about knowledge, I think eventually ChatGPT may be up to the same standards as a personal trainer, or even further, because the more people that use it, the more clever it gets, and the more ChatGPT gets trained to be better. But as I just listed, a good personal trainer is more than just knowledge. So by all means, use ChatGPT as a sense check, particularly if you've heard something from one of these TikTok PTs. But if you are serious about making changes to your physique and getting results, do not use ChatGPT as a personal trainer. It's not the same, it's a jack of all trades, it's a completely different ballgame. Imagine Brad Pitt or Chris Hemsworth trying to get in shape for a film and going to ChatGPT. It's just not going to happen. By all means, if you want to find out what the weather is in Spain, or perhaps type in a maths equation, this is what this is for, but not as a personal trainer. Hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like it. Comment below, let me know if you've used ChatGPT before or know anyone who's used it with success. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.